if you're like most people, you probably want to get to that next level a lot faster, and that is what this video is about. Think about where you're at now and where you were maybe 3 years ago, 5 years ago. If you're obviously at a different level, hopefully you are, what did you do differently? You did some strategies. There's something that you did. If you knew now what you knew then, could you get to where you're at now even quicker? Most likely you could. And that is the purpose and the reason and the wisdom of having somebody that's been where you're at, where you want to go, and get advice and strategies from them. And that's what I'm going to focus on today. Later on, by the end here of this video, I'm going to share with you a short clip. It's about 3 minutes long, where I take a person who has a belief that they've had all their life, and I'll guarantee you, you probably have the same belief. You definitely know people that do, and you'll see in a matter of a few minutes how I've totally rewired that thinking. Very simple, and you will see there is no hypnosis whatsoever. Also, you'll see a button below. Click that button after we're done here. If you want more of this and you want to go deeper, I have a very, very incredible program that I'd love to invite you to, that especially if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, author, coach, speaker, this is the place that you want to be at, because I share these principles in so many different areas to help you get to that next level a lot faster. And with me doing this for 30 years, I'll assure you, I've learned a couple principles and strategies that I believe can help you. Now, what I'm going to share with you first, I'm going to do a little drawing here, an example. As an instructor, I'm a flight instructor. Now, I don't do this for a living, but when I started learning to fly, I realized that if I wanted to stay really polished and brushed up on my skills, I would keep getting different FAA ratings, and several of the FAA ratings that I got were instructor ratings. And I'm obsessed with showing people how to get to that next level faster. That's why Dr. Phil, for 3 years on his show, the doctors had me on his show, and I would take people who have had major trauma in their life, and literally in about one session, usually 45 minutes or so, whatever they'd been in therapy for maybe 10, 20 years, I would be able to reverse that permanently in one session without hypnosis. And I'm going to share with you several strategies that I create and come up with to show people how to get to that next level faster. There's always a faster way. Everything that I do in my life, whether it be trying to continue to stay fit, whether it's my business, I stop and realize what might be the faster way. 5 years from now, if I look back to this day, what was it or what could it be that I can do to get to that next level faster? And I'm obsessed with that. So let me give you the illustration of the flying part. Let's say you come to me and you want to learn to fly. You say, hey Gary, can you teach me how to land an airplane? So this right here is the runway, okay? And typically what happens is you're in the airplane, you take off, and we typically do a rectangular pattern. So we got a little rectangle going here, and then right here, the last 10 seconds or so is when you're gonna land the airplane. That is like the most dangerous part. Taking off, flying the airplane, turning it, it's really not that complicated. Typically, depending on how big the airport you're flying in, this typically takes about 10 minutes. All right, 10 minutes. Now, how many 10-minute increments do we have in an hour? We have 6. So we can do 6 of these, because if it takes 10 minutes, we can do 6. We call them touch and goes. We're going to touch and go, come back around. We can do 6 of them in 1 hour. But I thought, well, wait a minute. We spend nearly 10 minutes flying around doing simple little stuff to master. That's the landing. The landing part is the part that you really want to really master, right? That's the part that's going to kill you. Learn to master that. But I'm spending 10 minutes to learn to master this. I mean, after a couple flights of this, the left turn, the level, that's a no-brainer. This is the hardest part. So I came up with a strategy. I said, okay, how about we do this? How about when we land and do a touch and go, instead of doing it once, we come back up again, come back down, land again, come back up, and when we're going up, we're only going up maybe 20 or 50 feet, and come back down again, then we come around. So now I did how many of these in 10 minutes? I now did 3 of these in 10 minutes, so we're doing 3 times more. 3 times 6 is 18. We're doing this 3 times more. You will learn and accelerate typically 3 times more than the average student pilot learning to do this with another instructor. My question to you then is, if this is all true, why don't instructors teach this? By the way, I know of none that do this. Here's one of the reasons. Skill level, it takes a certain skill level. Most instructors do not have a high grade skill level because they're using instructing as a way of getting time to build time to go to the airlines. That's the biggest reason. The other reason, check this out, and this is a reason why most people, perhaps yourself included, are hard to find in yourself, in your head, to figure out and commit to doing things smarter. Well, wait a minute, Gary, if it's smarter, why wouldn't I do it? Let's talk about why most people don't sometimes. So here's, let's say this is an instructor or a pilot, and they're watching. Now, I'll assure you, if you see me teach somebody do this, it will look like the instructor and or the pilot have no idea what the heck they're doing, because they're going up, they're coming back down. They're going up, they're coming back down. Typically, you only go down once, touch, come back around. So ultimately then, because this is so abnormal, out of the ordinary, the reason most people won't teach it is because they're too overly concerned about what other people, what? Think. I will assure you, if I gave you, and if I give most people strategies, especially if they're not paying for it, right? They're just watching it on YouTube, they're not going to implement it. Because it's too unusual, it's too odd, they'll feel uncomfortable. What's my spouse gonna say? What's my friends gonna say? What are my colleagues gonna say? It is because this is so unusual, the average instructor will not do this because they are too overly concerned what other people think. Now, I do know it's quite unusual. Because it's quite unusual, before I do something like this, I literally call the tower up and say, hey, here's what I'm gonna be doing. It's gonna be a little odd. I promise you, we're in control. We know what we're doing. It's all intentional. In fact, what I will ask when I'm in the air with the control tower, I will request what we call the option. If they approve the option, it gives me the option to do whatever I want between here and here. Land, go 5 feet above the runway, go 10 feet above the runway, slow down, go fast. I'm in control. I've gotten the blessing for them to do whatever I want. But this is why psychologically, most people won't teach or accept why or how you can implement certain things to get you there faster. Now, I'm going to share with you the next video. In this video that I'm going to share with you, it's only a couple minutes long. Depending on your attitude looking at it, you could say, oh, this is stupid. But for me, it's incredibly powerful. We're going to take somebody, you're going to watch me take a person who's had a belief that I believe that you have, and if you don't have it, I'll assure you 100%, you know many people that do. And this gentleman at the time, he's 28 years old. His parents programmed him to this belief, and hopefully you'll be able to figure out how later on. I don't explain it in the video because it's just short. I'm not going to explain it now because if I did, I'd give it all away. And you will see a 28-year-old belief vanish. So much so, you'll hear it. Now, the audio is a little low. I apologize for that. I actually did this as a demonstration at my Jet Mastermind with a very small, intimate group. I do that on a regular basis. If you're interested in that, stay in touch with us. But we didn't have, correct audio, so we're going to try to ramp up the audio a little bit. But just listen closely. You'll see it's very, very powerful. And again, if you want to learn and understand how to get to that next level faster, and I take all this information, even though this has nothing to do with business, but the principles are there. What are the principles? The principles is how can we get to the next level faster? There's always a faster, better way. So if you're interested in that, click that link below. Join us at my next event. In fact, it's a 5-day program. And when I tell you it's 5 days, I mean it's only really 2 hours a day for 5 days. And I used to tell people at the end of the 5th day, if you didn't feel that you got not even 5, 10 times the value of your small investment, I would totally refund your money. Now we do it. If you don't get 10 times the value in the first 2 hours, happy to refund the small investment that you would make to learn these strategies and how to take your business as a coach, entrepreneur, speaker, or consultant to the next level. So enjoy this next video. It's a little unusual. Enjoy this next video. It's a little unusual, but I'll assure you it's very powerful. All right, click also the link below. Look forward to seeing you on this event as well. Enjoy.